just in a matter of minutes, we go from just being concerned to real crisis mode where we realize that we got to evacuate.
A wall of water arrives as the Guadalupe River wipes out summer camps, businesses, and entire communities in the Texas Hill Country. Tonight, the search and rescue missions continue as the number of dead rises. Good evening. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. It is a very staggering disaster in Texas, and many are still missing tonight.
Yeah, search and crews in boats and helicopters. They've been working around the clock. Officials say there have been more than 160 rescues by helicopter, and search and rescue teams and hundreds of volunteers are combing the banks of the Guadalupe River. Time-lapse videos show just how quickly the water rose on Friday. Look at this. More than 24 campers and counselors from Camp Mystic there died in the flooding. It's just one of many children's summer camps along the Guadalupe River where mountains of debris, including mangled cars, now sit. Many families are now going through what few belongings they were able to save as they wait in churches that have been turned into shelters.
And it makes me feel a little helpless because we can't help those people, but it also makes me want to double down and help those that we can.
A lot of people didn't have time to make it out, and that's evident here with all the lives lost.
Unfortunately, the risk of life-threatening flooding is still high in central Texas with more rain on the way. President Trump says he plans to visit the flood-ravaged areas later this week. One major question in the aftermath of the flooding: did the cuts at the National Weather Service impact the response? The National Weather Service called in extra workers so the local offices would be fully staffed. They sent the first flash flood warning at about 1:14 a.m. Notices calling for evacuations came at 4 a.m., warning that a life-threatening situation was underway.
We had an all-hands-on-deck situation where we had a full complement, full staff of meteorologists working in those shifts. Now, what was going on with those forecasters is that they were working on overdrive. They were doing their maximum effort to keep people safe, to inform people.
Some people in the area say they never received emergency alerts on their phones. Others said the warnings did not mention evacuating, and some said they didn't take the alerts seriously because of how frequently flood alerts are sent out in that area.
And people in Louisiana know disaster all too well, and when someone else is hurting, they don't hesitate. Tonight, Rachel Handley shows us how locals are already stepping up to help in Texas.
They're good at what they do. And right now, Texas needs them.
These members are trained to in high rapid waters, are able to swim, maneuver boats.
Michael Kimball is Louisiana's urban search and rescue coordinator. He says Texas's government asked for help from Louisiana's most experienced rescuers.
Texas has a very big program of swiftwater assets. They've used all they have. They've reached out to Louisiana. Oklahoma is there. There's other states on the move to go assist them in this devastating time.
Right now, 14 swiftwater rescuers from Louisiana are already there. Alongside them are volunteers from the United Cajun Navy.
We probably have at least a dozen people out there right now in different capacities.
Vice President Brian Trasher says more people and trained canines are on the way. And while rescuers search through the floodwater, other helpers in our state are looking toward the aftermath.
We at the American Red Cross pride ourselves on being prepared for any tragedy, but even this one was a little tough for us.
CEO Dr. Kenneth St. Charles says the Louisiana Red Cross is prepared to help with burial costs, mental health resources, and even travel expenses for people affected by the flooding.
We just don't know until a person comes to us and says, this is the help I need.
The Red Cross also supports first responders during disasters. Dr. St. Charles says a vehicle like this would be used for shelter and also to distribute supplies from. This will be a tough mission for those first responders. Trasher says the number of people killed in the floods, especially children, makes this different than other disasters they've responded to in the past. He even says the United Cajun Navy is only sending what it calls special ops volunteers.
These are mostly combat veterans and people with a lot of experience in law enforcement. They can handle seeing and experiencing very traumatic things and still keep going.
And they will keep going alongside everyone from Louisiana that's helping out in Texas and from afar.
What we do, it's not just a job, it's a calling to give back and serve the citizens that we protect.
Rachel Handley, WWL Louisiana.
And we will have continuing coverage of the deadly flooding in Texas as more locals gear up to help the survivors. Look for the latest updates on our website, our smartphone app, as well as our social media pages.